What's going on? What's going on? It's Devon King here with the KingCast podcast. I'm here with a professional influencer, insurance, one of the best insurance guys in the industry, Tristan Dlabik. Tristan, how are you doing
Oh,
today?
doing incredible. That's incredible. You pronounced my name correct on the first try. I don't even think maybe I told you. I don't know if I
You
did.
definitely told me. Yes, sir. You definitely told me,
Ah,
man.
let's go.
Yes, sir.
I don't
Because
even remember.
I was looking at it originally, man. I was thinking, you know what? I'm just going to call him Tristan Ross, the boss. But I was thinking, you know what? I might as well just actually
Yes,
ask him how to say that last name because,
yes.
it'll be a bit more professional. But yeah, just talk about, what you're doing right now, and a few words, and then we'll go out, bottom up, start, where you got started from, kind of thing.
Yeah, so right now I'm living in Miami. I run a life insurance agency of about 200 something agents, and we're a $5 million a year business. We'll probably do closer to $10 million next year. That's where 999% of my revenue comes from. And then I also have a staffing company that was inspired by the life insurance industry years ago, where I help individuals find sales jobs, not limited to insurance, but just sales jobs all over. It's called Sales Hub. And then I have an insurance and sales consulting company as well, where I help individuals one-on-one for as little as $1,000 a month. And then I also have a free consulting for just people in the sales world that want just free advice. And that's kind of like a school, but I have it through GroupMe. And I think I also have a school. But that's pretty much my daily activities. And I have a phenomenal girlfriend that I have and plan on marrying here. So
Yes, sir. Yes,
that's
sir. We'll
that's
get
it.
into that
That's my life.
Miami relationship, man. I don't know how you pulled that one off, man. It's looking pretty, Miami on my Instagram. It's looking like I'll have to choose somewhere like Fort Lauderdale or something like that. I know
Yeah.
Patrick Bet David. He was saying, you don't want to start a family in Miami. You want to go to Fort Lauderdale. So that'll be
Oh yeah. We're not starting a family, but I'm
definitely,
definitely
definitely.
getting married.
What? Where did you grow up at?
I grew up in Little Rock, Arkansas on a farm, basically a farm. I call it a farm.
Definitely, definitely. What did your parents grow up doing?
So my mom, she grew up. Basically, she went to a little bit of school, I believe, got an associate's degree, maybe even a bachelor's degree, and then went on to do accounting or some type of financial work for a company called Paychex, got a promotion at a young age and moved to Arkansas, met my dad, and he was just probably more so just an entrepreneur since, he was a young man, just kind of odd in jobs and, would essentially just kind of middleman different opportunities, almost like a contractor, general contractor. I remember him building and doing a lot of things growing up like that. And, that was the gist of what they did for my brief recollection, because my parents went away when I was like 6 or 7. And then pretty much after like 8 or 9 years old, maybe even 10 years old, I didn't have a relationship with my pops because he was away. And then once he got out, I was already pretty much grown up.
Definitely. Of course, I already have, a background off of watching your podcast, but when you say, go away, what exactly do you mean by, going away?
Yeah, so I say that in consideration for them, you know what I mean? Because they'll watch all my stuff over the years, and it's my story, my reality. But they went to jail, but out of respect to them, I was just saying they went away. But yeah, they went to jail, so my mom did. She was gone from me what seemed like 2 years, but she only did a little less than a year of federal time, and then my dad was like about 6 years of federal time, and then but he was gone, pretty much after 10 years old, and there was a little point in between there as well. Because they divorced when I was 6, where when my mom was gone, and it was just like me with the grandparents and my sister. So little bit of just American obstacle, not even
Of
like a
course.
legitimate adversity. When I
Yes, sir.
reflect back on it, it wasn't even that bad.
Definitely, definitely. Then how was high school for you?
High school was, listen, all school was rough. I didn't care about school. I thought it was stupid. I thought the teachers were stupid. And not that, probably then I thought they were individually stupid as well, but more so I just looked at it as like, man, this can't be my life. I'm not going to be an English teacher, a science teacher, a math teacher making, you know, just get by money. You know what I mean? That's what they say a job is, just over broke. I'm not going to do this. You know what I mean? Put up with all these kids and just be getting by and barely making any money to get told when I can take off, when I can be sick and all of that. And I hated school. I was fighting always. I was angry from, my parents going away and being confused all my life on what we had, what we didn't have. So I was very distraught, very upset. I hated everything. I was angry. So I was expelled my sophomore year for fighting. I remember my principal, prior to me being expelled, I remember him telling me, pull me into his office and literally looking me in the eye, shutting the door and saying, you're going to end up just like your dad. You're going to be in jail one day. You know what I mean? And like, nobody's going to care about you. And you know what I mean? Like the path that you're going in. Like when he had said that, it shattered my world. I remember I was just a badass kid, just selling drugs and fighting. And he was right. You know what I mean? He was right. I don't know if I would deliver it that way, but young men, you need tough love. You need punched in the mouth. You need corrected and guided. And so I look back now and think that man was an angel for that aggressive, confrontation of, hey, the path that you're going down is literally going to put you in jail or yield a life of nothingness and emptiness for you because you're going down a bad path. I know like what these habits are going to lead to. And regardless of him being a principal and people being teachers, et cetera, the blue collar world's needed. But, that all transpired. I get expelled and finish up my high school online. My mom pretty much did all my schoolwork because I wasn't going to do any of it. And so I was basically paying her from the UPS money I was making. I started working at UPS at 16, and the street money I was making, I was just paying her a couple bucks to do my schoolwork and kind of do all that boring stuff while I just, hung out with my friends and worked all day and worked out all day.
Yeah, I know that you weren't around for that Chat GPT, man. I did. I definitely did have some online school. Chat GPT came in clutch for all that kind of
Not
stuff.
at all.
But how was UPS for you? I worked there for about 3 months. I hated it in there, man. They would be telling me, put the boxes in the right order, man. Do this, do
Yeah.
that. I remember one time, man. I don't. Were you like a unloader or a loader?
I was a loader.
Yeah, I remember one time I was loading the boxes and they had me like in one of those slower ones where like the boxes, they just didn't realize it. I was new at the time. I had my phone up, man. I was watching Netflix in there, man. One of the supervisors comes over, man. She sees me watching Netflix, man. Pulls me out, man. That was one of my last days after that, man. I would just be chilling in the bathroom for an hour and stuff like that.
Took you,
But yeah, it was horrible. I should have known better. I should have hit it better, man. But you live and you learn. But what was that experience like in UPS for you?
So I did it a little longer than 3 months. I was there for a year and a half, and it was about 6 or 8 months of me loading, and then about a year or maybe even 10 months of me as a supervisor. I can't remember exactly, but it was, as I reflect back again, it was, I worked pretty hard and, I got my real, like, I would say my first experience of kind of like a legitimate workplace, like, especially like a legitimate blue collar type of experience, almost barely corporate America because of the simple fact of I was making, probably 1,600, 1,400 bucks a month, which was insane. Basically the same amount of money my mom was making growing up. And, I got to kind of experience what it was like to be, like absolutely humiliated by your bosses, your upline, whatever, these supervisors that would scream at you and tell you to load faster and there's nothing you could do about it. And, then as an 18-year-old kid, 17-year-old kid, I was put in charge of, 30-year-olds, 40-year-olds. I was the belt supervisor. So now roles reverse and I'm yelling at people. And I didn't realize like, wow, this is so hard. Like yelling at people doesn't get the job done. I'm damaging our relationships. My team didn't want to work for me. They're 30, 40 years old. I wouldn't want to work for a 17-year-old, 18-year-old anyways. But then I don't know what clicked in me, but I started to think to myself, like, what could I do to motivate these guys to listen to me and so we can have smooth days and get out sooner? Because we just wanted to get the trucks loaded as quickly as possible, do our job, make sure everything was scanned in properly, trucks were lined up properly. And I started asking everybody, what do you want on Friday? Do you want cookies? You want donuts? What's your favorite candy? And I remember this one dude, and I won't say his name because he was going to jail, and I don't know if he got out of jail. But he was in his 30s, and we'll just we'll call him like Larry. And he got busted with cocaine, and he was working at UPS to help pay down his whatever, the whole process of going to jail. And I just remember him being real chill with me, even though I'm 18 years old and he's 30 something years old, about to go do some years for getting busted, dealing cocaine. I just remember asking these guys, and I asked, man, what do you want Friday so we can have a good week, bro? And you show up and you go work hard and we'll get this whole thing knocked out this year. And I remember he's like, man, I want like a Snickers bar or something simple. And it's like, how excited and motivated my team got. And I look back now, being in a leadership role and running a company of 200 plus individuals and doing millions of dollars in production, that's 100% what leadership is. It's putting people first and figuring out what do you want? When you can answer and solve for people, what's in it for me, you get rich. And that's just identifying it. When you can consistently deliver with action what's in it for them, and you give people what they want, what they desire, that's how you get wealthy. And it's so cool because I think back on that, man, I was starting to figure out leadership at a young age. I failed most of the time, yelling at people and everything like that. But when I got down in that trailer in my suit or my khakis and my polo, and I started loading beside my people that I didn't have to because I wasn't a union representative, so I wasn't getting paid by the hour like they were. I was salary. And got them donuts and take a percentage of my check and my money, and I brought you cookies and I brought you snacks and I got whatever I could do. And we talk about people's like their family and their birthday and their kids and how's this going, how's that going, what can I do better? And I'm super grateful for UPS. And I know I went on a long tangent there, but people have only heard me give my insight on the brief surface level horrible experience I had at UPS.
That was fire, man. Yeah, that was fire, man. I already saw a couple of your interviews, man. I didn't hear some of that stuff, man.
Well, yeah, you only have a horrible experience, I realize, in this life if you deliver horrible energy and attitude. And then if you reflect on it from that lens as well. So when you reflect on life from a learning lens, you start to realize nothing in your life has ever been wasted. Whether you did a good job with your attitude and your effort or you did a bad job, because now you can look and be like, okay, here's what I could have done better. Here's what they could have done better. But all you can do is take responsibility for what you could have done better and look at that moment and realize, I look at the things I did well and they were good, but there was a lot of things I could have done better. And so the moment wasn't wasted. And the moment also being delivered to the public, it's like, you can become wealthy anywhere. There's so many guys like the Nike CEO. You can rise up from that trailer and become the CEO of UPS. The odds are very, 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 very slim, but you can work your way up. If you're a hard worker and you have a great attitude, you can make a lot of money anywhere because it's invaluable to be a great person inside and out consistently for decades. That's worth millions of dollars. I don't care where you do it at.
Definitely, man. Yeah, I was hearing you talking about those employees. I definitely have that on the notes. And me personally, man, I've had over 10 employees, man. I got some wild stories I can't even share publicly, man. But I'll actually share one of them because it's not too crazy. But this one guy, man, he was supposed to be doing 3 cars, man. He calls his parents to ask if he could do the last car. So then for anybody watching this, my new employee, he would never do something like this. So basically, I leave to go get some supplies, man. He's cleaning the cars up. I look at my text, man. He's like, I can't do this anymore, man. I'm no. What do you mean you can't do this anymore, man? So I rush back from Walmart, but I don't even go in and get the supplies, man. I'll pull back up, man. And as I'm pulling up, I get a call, man, and I don't even answer the call because I know he's gonna be mad. And then I look at my voicemail. It's a voicemail from the police, man. It's like, hello, this is Naperville Police Department. Stop hanging up on us. Blah blah blah. He has your client's keys. So basically, man, what he did was he left all the stuff there, and he didn't even realize he had the client's keys. He just took off, and he called the police once he realized he had them. So I had to go back and get him. And then obviously, I went back to the client. The client wasn't mad, of course. He was just wondering, why the guy quit and stuff like that. And then, of course, I didn't really want to clean those cars because I gave the guy such a good deal on them because, of course, as a middleman of the guy doing the labor, I pay him a set amount and then I get the actual payment. I didn't want to, do the cars for that small amount. He had, dog hair. So, it was on me. I should have known it was a little crazy in those cars, but for Brody to pull something wild like that, I definitely didn't realize, you got to start incentivizing people. With the guy I have now, he's like, one of the best guys that the best guy I've had at all. And, I told him, once I move on from this detail and stuff, I'm going to give you, all the clients. You'll be able to do them all yourself. And I had like 6 pairs of old shoes. I just gave it all to him for free. But yeah, that employee stuff is definitely important, man. I got some more wild stories from that, but it's just a part of the game, man. I actually did see you have your office. I saw you, have some videos of your videos on your Instagram and stuff like that, and they do look pretty young. How do you get so many young recruits? Like, is it like word of mouth normally, or do you guys do like Indeed advertising or?
No, just social media, bro. You're on Instagram. You know what I mean? That's probably how you found me.
Uh,
So
that's actually I actually saw your I saw you on YouTube. I was chilling that night. I saw it was like Wes Watson new Bugatti coming in, man. That's actually how I saw you, man. Was that
yeah,
one? Yes sir, yes sir. That one because his interviews are always fire, bro. He always drop some
yeah.
lines in there and stuff like that. But yeah, that's how I saw you on there, and I saw your Instagram's nice. But yeah, I know that the insurance business is nice. I've had some people try to recruit me for it. The only thing with me, I don't know if it's any different for you guys, but I know like you got to get the license, and then you got to go off of leads, and you know it's like the barrier to entry is more like a time thing. Like I'm sure it's not expensive to get in it, but the time it'll take to build up the people versus for me, I just go out, I see a couple dirty cars, ring the doorbell. Like the other couple days ago, there was a couple dirty cars outside, and that was like the second house I saw. Went to the doorbell. I'm doing them tomorrow. You know what I mean? So it's like that barrier to entry. Can you explain how that is for the insurance business?
Yeah, so you hit the nail on the head. There's definitely a process, but you have to think to yourself, like, typically wealth is hidden behind a barrier of entry. So if it's easy to obtain, usually there isn't a lot of money behind it. So like, very rarely, and I think detailing is a great place, like just entrepreneurship in general, generating revenue, knocking on doors and selling is a great place to start. I always tell everybody when I do my lives or I do any type of footage and content, start somewhere is better than starting nowhere or just jumping immediately into some type of hourly or salary wage. Prove to yourself that you can deliver a product or service and generate revenue and be self-sufficient. But then you want to start to identify opportunities, and don't be scared, don't be afraid of the prerequisites, the licenses, and all of the requirements legally for you to establish and build your business, because everything great is on the other side of obstacle. Opportunities are aligned with obstacles. Like you don't get opportunity without having obstacles. They go hand in hand. I always tell everybody, listen, like the reason that we appreciate life so much is that there's death. You wouldn't appreciate life if there wasn't death, if you didn't know that eventually this was going to go away. There's duality in life. So you have to understand, like, it completely aligns with the height that you want to go. If you want to go super high, there's an opportunity that you can go super low, or there's going to be an extreme amount of work that has to be accomplished in order for you to get to where you want to go. It takes decades to build something special. So you might as well get it done in your 20s. Knock it out in your 20s or 30s. You'll start reaping those rewards in your 40s. But also speed of product distribution. So like the scalability of a door-to-door company is a lot slower than the scalability of a virtual
Oh,
or
definitely,
technology-based
definitely,
company. You know what I mean? So it's like,
definitely.
if you could watch those cars virtually, I would definitely be endorsing that. I'd love to invest and be a part, but like, I love things that you can distribute the product or service instantaneously
Of
because
course.
money flows with speed.
So for me personally, I know you just mentioned that door to door thing. That's one thing I've noticed. Like whenever I get older and stuff like that, of course I got options trading and stuff like that. I know trading your time. You're gonna be a grandpa when you first get that Lamborghini. But yeah, I've noticed like whenever I get some money, I mean, if you get a few door knockers and they just knock on doors for car detailing, I think that would be a good business. But insurance is definitely going to be what much easier for those systems and stuff like that, and actually teaching people. But yeah, I mean, I saw there was like a mentor that you had that brought you in when you started with like I think it was like AO Globe Life or something like that, like Arius or something like that.
Yeah, yeah, yep. That was my previous business partner and mentor.
Oh, how did
Yeah.
you end up getting a partner with him?
So I started from scratch. I didn't know the guy and started with his company in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. I found like the company more so found me through an automated email. I was uploading my high school diploma as a resume on different job sites. I get an automated email from the Arias company. I thought it was a scam because why would anybody want to hire me? I have no qualifications. I have no credibility or anything, just a high school diploma. So I drive in, I do my interview. I got cornrows. I'm 145 pounds, 150 pounds, graduated high school, basically a girl with the size I was, 150 pounds. I always joke. But I always tell everybody, I go into this interview with this mindset of like, there's no way I'm getting hired. There's no way. There's Maseratis in the parking lot. Everybody's 40 years old, 220 pounds, full of testosterone and jacked. I'm 145 pounds and angry. with cornrows. You know what I mean? I got braids in my hair,
Yeah,
basically, down to my
definitely.
shoulders. And, I sit down with the interview. They go through the licensing process. They go through the whole nine. And I'm like, okay, so what's the next steps? Am I able to get hired? And they're like, yeah, we'd love to have you on board, but you have to get the life insurance license. I'm thinking to myself, okay, well, how do I acquire the license? And they're like, it's a couple $100. And I'm thinking to myself, oh man, this is a scam. They're trying to charge me for a course. And then, they were able to explain to me, like, no, it's not a course. You're getting a life insurance license. So you're getting licensed to actually distribute the product because it's nationally regulated. It's internationally. Like, you cannot distribute life insurance without a license. It's a regulated product. So I get my life insurance license. It takes me probably 17 hours, I think I recall, to be exact, to get the whole course done. And then I go take my state exam. I'm licensed within, 48 hours. I had it done very, very quickly. And then again, money flows with speed and speed flows with money. And I point that out because anybody watching this that's trying to get wealthy fast, there is a shortcut. It's called speed. It's called working as hard as possible. Like right off rip, it's not a matter of work intelligence. It's a matter of how hungry you are. Those first couple years of building, like you just go all in and you build. And time doesn't exist. All that exists is the opportunity in front of you, and all the obstacles in front of you. You destroy them. You eat them up. I'm excited about it. I kill it. You know what I mean? So first couple weeks, I just put my head down and I'm dialing probably thousands of leads is what it felt like every single day. Paper leads, all of my the whole industry was in person. I had to dial the lead, set the appointment, drive to their home. I was driving hours a day, dialing all day, working all day, and barely sleeping. And so my first year or two, I fell asleep behind the wheel 5 times, slept probably 2-3 hours a night. I didn't do any crazy drugs or shit like that to stay awake like all these other people do in sales. For me, it was energy drinks and stick my head out the window and hope I don't fall asleep, which I did. My car insurance got up to $1,000 a month, but
I'm
to
doing that
connect,
right now, man. I'm
yeah,
telling you,
bro,
it's like, what do you have, bro? I got 7 tickets right now, 4 speeding tickets, and 3 accidents in the last year with my
yeah.
BMW. How
My,
did you? I haven't met
I was
anybody else
falling
doing
asleep.
that.
Yeah, I was falling asleep. That was all mine was. I had a couple speeding tickets, but mine was just falling asleep behind the wheel, bro. I just kept
Oh, you
falling
got
asleep
caught
and
like by the police,
crashing.
and they gave you like oh, you crashed it.
No. Yeah, bro. I would fall asleep. I like
Oh,
fall asleep, bro. I'm not talking about like close your eye. I'm talking about fully fall asleep. I would not sleep. I didn't sleep my first couple of years. There was no sleep. Sleep was for like girls. You know what I
yes,
mean? Like
sir.
I wasn't sleeping
Yes,
whatsoever.
sir.
So I smash it. I'm the top producer my first year in the business. Then I'm the top supervising agent my second year in the business. And then I get promoted to a regional director. I go out and open an office in Lincoln, Nebraska at 21 years old. 3 months in, COVID hits. I got 10, 15 young individuals I'm leading and are looking to me to help them make money and grow their sales businesses in the insurance space in Lincoln, Nebraska. My right-hand dog, Rob Jackson, that's followed me all over the world. One of my best friends, Sam Marzullo, another one, John Rent, all of them, just my dogs, my right-hand men. And we're out there and they're all looking at me like, figure this thing out. I'm 21 years old. They're all, 20 years old, 19, 18 years old. And I'm thinking to myself, like, man, I got to stay solid. Within 9 months, actually within 6 months of COVID hitting, we're doing 200,000 a week and we're all averaging like 20 grand a week in income. And we're all 21 years old. Brand new cars, money flying, money flowing in. And within 6 months, I got promoted to a franchise owner. And that's how I partnered with Simon. All the results, all the hard work, all the coachability, nobody outworked me. Nobody, like, I paved the way for all the youth, especially in his company, of like what's going to be done, what's going to be said, how it's going to be done, how it's going to be said, social media, all of it. That was the point of origin. And like when people think of like who turned it up in the 21st century of youthfulness in the insurance space, they think of me.
Yes, sir.
And
So I do have
I
a
say that
question
out
for
of
you.
humility.
So I
Yes.
do have a question for you. So I know I was looking at some of the different articles on you that you had mentioned, and I was seeing some numbers. It was looking like 1 million by 21, but then I watched another video of you, and you were saying like you were flexing that your earnings or something from the 1099, and something about like like it's like I don't know, something about like you don't keep it all or something. I know for car detailing, I don't mess with the IRS. I'm not gonna lie to you, but I don't know how it goes for insurance business or anything like that. how do those numbers actually, like, is there like you got to pay like the people you're partnering with? Like, do they take a fraction? And then like there's taxes and like, is there like self-employment or like 1099? Like, how does that structure work as to like how you keep the money?
Yeah. Yeah. So when you arrange a partnership, there's a percentage agreement. I wasn't too familiar with that because I got partnered in when I was 21 years old. So I wasn't too familiar with the percentage agreements and all of that. But essentially, there was a percentage agreement between my partner and myself. And that money got distributed, based off that agreement. And then you have your taxes and expenses. But I'll tell you this, to make $1 million, like to keep make $1 million, not that hard. You just got to work hard and have a little bit of common sense. To keep $1 million, you have to make 10 million. The dollar pretty much operates in a 10-to-1 ratio. A couple dollars are going to go to taxes, and the rest of the dollars should go to investing into your business. I think like everything else, like if you want to keep $1 million, like that first $1 million, first couple $1 million, a couple bucks. Like if you look at $1 million as a $10 bill, a couple bucks out of that is going to taxes. A couple bucks go to cost of living. 50-60% should be going into more leads, more ads, more scaling, more staff, more subsystems. Like just because you make $1 million, and that's what I always try to tell people is like, don't be impressed by people flexing money. Because like, unless you're making 10 mil plus, 20 mil plus, these cats more than likely don't have a liquid mil. They're capping, they're lying. You know what I mean? And then you look at sustainability of industries as well. Like all these social media gurus and coaches, you know what I mean? Like I've done podcasts and content with them. And it's like, I respect bread. I respect cash flow coming in. I respect development and all of that. But you have to also look at like, what can survive decades? What can survive decades? What industry are we getting in? Like can you see yourself, like say you want to build you want to literally go all in on the detailing. How, like, I'm just saying hypothetically, like 40 years from now, do you think people are still going to be getting their cars detailed manually by a human being whatsoever?
40, yeah. 40, I think, because I mean, you gotta think like, for example, man.
I think 10 years from now, we're gonna have robots.
And I don't know, not the detailing part, man. Especially like the door-to-door part of what I do. Like I'm not gonna be doing this after 2 years from now, especially. But if somebody did want to do what I do, robots aren't gonna be knocking on doors, asking to detail cars. But I mean, would you trust a robot to clean your Lamborghini Urus?
Yes, I would just. Here's my thought. And I just created a new business in creation. Just put a car wash in your garage where it just automatically washes your car while it's sitting in the garage.
That's expensive.
Yeah, but for rich people will pay for it. You know what I mean? Like, and then poor people don't get their cars detailed anyways.
I know, man.
Nobody gets their Honda detailed. If you're talking about detailing the Lamborghini Urus, all right, $10,000. We'll build it into your mortgage. It's an extra couple $100 a month. We're gonna put a car wash into your garage. It'll wash your car every night while you're asleep, just like a dishwasher.
100 years from now, that might be a thing. I agree.
That shit might happen after I just said that, bro. That's 10 months from now. That shit. I might go create that shit right now. It sounds fire.
It does sound like a good idea. But yeah. So normally, I would get started with that college stuff. But of course, just like me, you didn't go to college. What are your thoughts on college? I think it's a scam, waste of money.
I did go to college. I went to college when I was like 12 and 13. I went up there for parties.
I got you.
When I was a young cat, I was going up to college parties. But my thoughts on college as well is I was enrolled for a week and withdrew. I started to study and read a lot around 18 years old. And somehow I came across subsidized and unsubsidized loans. And that would be my technical reasoning on withdrawing from college is like, what is the point of me getting approved for a massive loan? And I would consider, anything over $10,000-$20,000 as an 18-year-old, a young man, young woman, like not knowing what you're doing with like a massive loan. And then to have subsidized interest built in there as well, meaning interest with the subsidized loan is going to start to accrue immediately, and unsubsidized should start accruing in the completion of the loan agreement, the term agreement, which is usually 2 to 4 year completion of your school degree. So that technical reasoning is you went to college to get business advice. You want to be like, say like for me, I was going for like a business degree or something like that. Anything other than doctor is stupid. Reason being is you're acquiring this degree for what? What's the point and purpose? For you to go make a living. So this person's making 50 grand a year to teach you how to go make hundreds of thousands of dollars. From my experience and understanding of life, your teacher can't teach you to do what they aren't doing.
That's
It
facts,
doesn't make
man.
sense.
That's facts.
You
And
know
I
what I
think
mean? So it's like,
there's a lot of attorneys too that are making that bread, man. Like people that are partnering with law firms.
lawyers don't need college. People get out of jail every single year from self-educating themselves on the legal requirements, responsibilities, all of the legal jargon, all of like the necessary like legal books. There's multiple stories of individuals getting themselves out of jail or preventing themselves from going to jail because they just immediately obsess over I'm gonna educate myself on everything. Like what's a lawyer do? They're not cutting into a
So
human
I think
being.
that like to just know the law, of course you don't need a law degree, but to partner, if you want to make, I know dudes making multi-million dollars and they're partnered with a big law firm. You know what I mean? So if you want to get
Yeah.
partnered or own equity of a huge law
Yes.
firm, you're gonna need that
Oh
degree,
yeah.
something like that. I would say that's good. Of
Yes.
course, all those doctor degrees, they're making 800,000, 700,000. And then, and yeah, I know some like to start like a private equity fund. I know a lot of people get the MBAs, especially to be limited partners and stuff like that. You definitely do need some kind of MBA to understand how to structure deals. At least for somebody to trust you to structure their deals, you'll need some kind of MBA or something like that.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Definitely. And then besides from that, how did you get into all those circles, man? I think I know when I first watched your content, I sent you that text, man. I can't wait to get locked in with that kind of stuff. But I see you on there with Elliot, what's his name? Yeah, Andy Elliott, Patrick Bet David. I think you met from Andy Elliott, and then Wes Watson. Was that more like I know Wes Watson. He does a lot of those interviewing kind of you meet him through the interviews and like the elevation fitness kind of thing. Was it like one of those kind of things where you met him from?
Oh, bro, I pay a lot of money to get into these circles. So listen, there's two ways you get into circles. More recently, over the years of development and results that I've generated, I've had individuals come up to me and say, we recognize your success. We want you in this room. But most of the rooms I've gotten into have costed me thousands of dollars. Money that would make you shit. You know what I mean? So I've taken a large percentage of my money and invested back into, I want to get in that room. Because money is time. So I'm taking the money and buying more time because I know if I get in that room and get an answer, all I need is one answer or one relationship. And I look at that as saving me 10 years of my life. And I perceive myself as a future billionaire. So every time I save a year, hypothetically, I might save myself $10 million. Every time I waste a year, I lose $10 million. So I'm always willing to give up the money for the right relationship and to get into the right room. But as you generate results, legitimate results, and you have a consistent character, you're the same person off screen as you are on screen, and you're a good person, you start getting welcomed into the rooms. No payment. Like
Yes, sir.
I got a mentor right now down here in Miami worth 150 something plus $1 million, if not more, and charges me $0. Go out on his yacht, call me, FaceTime me on my birthday. Hey, what up, Tristan? Happy birthday, dog. The dude sold his company a couple years ago for $120 million and is building another one. I was on his yacht. His yacht's like $100 million.
You're talking about Eric Spofford or something? Eric Spofford?
Yeah, we're going to start name dropping, sure, yes.
Sorry. I was like, it's because I was just watching that interview with you, man. I was thinking, that sounds a little too familiar, man. But yeah, I know all those guys, bro, they're humble, man. That's one thing with Miami, man. Like,
not all. Eric's the realest I've been with, dog.
Mm-hmm.
That's the realest.
I mean, a lot of the people down there, not a lot of them, but the main guys are definitely down there. Compared to California, they got Gavin Newsom. I was gonna ask your opinion on that. I did see a story with you calling like the blue hair town or something like that. I know a lot of those guys. They're messing with Ron DeSantis much more than Gavin Newsom. What's your thoughts on California?
So look, I was in California for a day and it was clean, classy. I was in San Clemente and I was in San Diego, and I honestly I don't know if I saw many blue-haired people, but it was chilly for me, so I don't have really a negative take. I had a homemade steak at my buddy's mansion, my business partner's mansion. We went for a ride in his Rolls Royce and the e-bikes. He does insurance as well, and it's cool. You know what I mean? Cali's cool. It seems like old and classy in the parts that I was in. But it's just like anything. If you look for garbage, you'll find garbage anywhere that you look for. Miami has garbage. Cali has garbage. And if you're asking for my political opinion, I'm an American. I support America. I love America. I don't support anything that doesn't align with America. So if you listen to any politicians and they sound like they're not in support of the American people and they support socialism and like fair outcomes and equal outcomes don't exist because equal effort doesn't exist. Like nobody's ever going to do the same amount of work. So like those type of politicians, I don't support whatsoever. Those weirdos, I don't support them. That's my political opinion, my take, where to live, where not to live. Like I love America. I love this country. I've died for this country. When the right leaders are in place, and then we're in a time right now where there's individuals trying to deceive us and take over our nation, and they're destructive. They're super evil. So I like people that love America, and you can see through people's actions, like who loves America and who doesn't.
Yes, sir. And I do want to say on that politics, but I'm not really worried about this list, man. This podcast is flowing amazingly, but I wanted to ask you about, you said equal, there will never be equal outcomes because equal effort doesn't exist. And for me, I've had some people wanting to, go in with this detailing with me, but I can't do it because I'm the kind of guy, man, I get up. I'm a late get up. I work all day, so I don't mind. I get up around, 7 a.m., 7:30, and I'll work till like 8 p.m., 7, people, they don't want to knock on the,
those are rookie numbers.
Hey, man, knock on somebody's door at 7 p.m., man. Trust me, man. I had a guy, man,
I used to knock till 10 p.m.
But I'm saying, like,
I swear to God.
Clients that I already have, man, some of them I mess with, man. He texted me, man. He said, hey, Devon, I'll let you know when the cars need to be detailed. There's no reason to keep knocking to come to my house and stuff like that. And then so I've gotten some, I don't want to say too much on here because I know people that I'm already engaged with that are definitely going to see this, and I definitely I got some interesting tactics. I'm an aggressive salesman for sure, but that's the only way to door to door. That's the only way you can do it, man. You got to. People will tell you, we'll get the car detailed then. They don't get it done. You got to come back. I'll bring apple pies, flowers, everything like that.
Yeah, you have to. Yeah, you have to incentivize. But you're not knocking hard enough if you know what day it is, if you know what time it is. You don't want to be rich, especially in your first couple of years. Like when you're transitioning out of high school, you're building your business, you're in entrepreneurship the first couple of years. If you know what day it is, you know what time it is, and you're excited about your birthday and Christmas, if you don't have $1 million+ in the bank, there's no other way to put it. You're being a little baby back bee. You understand what I'm saying? So like the people watching this that are in sales, if you're trying to expedite the process, you have to obsess over all you're doing is presentations. Like all I'm thinking about is how can I get more presentations? How can I get more leads and work those leads? And I remember I would knock 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock, and it's dangerous. I had a couple guns pulled on me, but I think,
what are your crazy stories with that, man? I remember this one guy, he pulled a knife out on me, man. He had a weird Joker tattoo. He pulled a knife out on me, man. But I'm not gonna lie, I was playing with him though, man, because he said something to me that I didn't like, man. And of course, I was like 18 at the time. I just turned 18, so it was one of those things where it was an apartment complex. I just came back ringing his doorbell. He came out with a knife. Yeah, you got it.
I wouldn't do that.
Yeah, you got it, buddy. I'm not gonna lie, but you got any crazy stories when it comes to knocking doors?
No, just a gun or two. So like just this one time, I was probably 19, 20 years old at the time. I'm knocking this guy's door. It's 9:30 at night. And I think he was an existing policyholder with the company, and just letting him know, hey, look, we're just in the area. I was headed back home, and I wanted to make sure we got your policy reviewed and taken care of, so you know what you have, and see if there's any exposure in your current policy to see if you need any upgrades. And I barely even get through that pitch, and his wife had answered the door and is hearing me, and she immediately alert. She looks like an owl, these massive liberal-looking eyes, and she looks down the hall. And it's a sideways hall, so I can't see. It's horizontal. It's not vertical behind her. It's horizontal. She looks down the hall and she goes, honey, they're back. And he comes running and he's got this gun sideways, and I'm just at the door and I just start backing up. I'm like, I'm not armed. I do not have a gun. I'm just your insurance guy. They're cussing me out, telling me to leave. So, that happened to me a time or two, and it's all hilarious as I reflect.
It's a part of the game, man. It's a part of the game, man. I always
left.
It's a part of that door knocking game, man. And then, besides from that, man, what do you think about the Trump assassination, man? Do you think it's deep state, man? Do you think it's Ukrainian supporters, or what are you thinking?
and I wouldn't be able to pinpoint it because I think sometimes like average people like yourself, like myself, you know, in the grand scheme of things, we might come up with these complex deep state theories. And I do believe there are greater powers at force, but I don't think I don't think they're as intelligent as we think they are in regard to these people that are like that dude that was on the roof. You know what I mean? Like that was the enemy, super intelligent. They paid billions of dollars to put that together. You know what I mean? Like, what are we talking about? You
Yeah,
paid
but the thing
billions of
is that
dollars
one of
to
those
put that
senators, he
together.
said like people are going to be blown away when they see how many leaks there are and stuff like that. Like why are people going to be
Listen,
blown away?
I understand. Like, I completely believe that both sides conspire against one another. There's always going to be war and conflict when there's opportunity for individuals to be elected into power. I studied every president last year. I literally watched an hour to 2 hour biography on every single president. Since the beginning of time, there's been attempted assassinations when there's leadership is offered up into an elective role. There's going to be conflict and war and conspiracy, and there's going to be treachery that occurs behind the curtain. Revealing that curtain, exposing that curtain, are we going to be surprised? Not at all. You have to understand, money is going to push and create an agenda that is bloody always, till the end of time. Till this earth no longer exists, we will never eradicate that. Until this earth no longer exists, or Jesus comes back, whichever comes first, that's not going away. So like, I don't look at it to dissect like, hey, what's true, what's not true. It's 1,000% true. There's evil powers at force that are being manipulated by money. And the only thing I get confused on is how liberals even acquire money. But my thought process is this: is a good family over generations acquires money and becomes a bad family because it's inherited in the principle. Like, money only sustains through principles. It doesn't sustain just through skill set. It doesn't sustain just through mind. It's principles that have to be inherited. And that's the hardest part, is to transfer the principles and the character from generation to generation. So a good family will develop character. Like, I'll develop a new wave of bloodline. I've developed a new bloodline for my family and our bloodline. But my goal has to be transferring the principles from generation to generation for this thing to go 1,000 years, for it to go 10 generations. Because what happens is someone's going to inherit one of my downlines, one of my children, our children are going to inherit hundreds of millions of dollars, billions of dollars, whatever it might be. And then if they just don't get any of the principles, now they've got hundreds of millions, billions of dollars for them to throw at stupid shit. You know what I mean? And just become very immoral and very, like, especially to have that much like financial exposure. Like, when you have that much cash access to do what you want, like, something happens with the dopamine in your mind. Like, you don't get pleased enough. So you start thinking of like just really cruel and weird stuff to develop and getting tied into, and you start ruining countries. Like, these people start to compile together and come together and like, oh, let's throw weird parties, you know what I mean? And do all this weird stuff together and come up with weird ways to grow our money, you know? So it's
Yeah, you're
kind of
better
like a
than
movie
me, man.
like The Beekeeper. I don't know if you've seen that movie with Jason Tatum or whatever, on like the president's son, like just getting all that money and like just doing really sick, twisted stuff.
Yeah, you're better than me, man. I would just say, FBI, whoever Mark Cuban's messing with, man. I would have said, George Soros fundies, something along those lines. But what do
Oh yeah, dude.
you think anything about George Soros? I know that's a big guy. I haven't heard anything you speak on him.
No, I listen. All the articles and different things like that will pop up. Right now I'm seeing a lot of stuff pop up on Cuban.
Oh
So on
yeah,
his
Cubans. Yeah,
support for Kamala Harris and all of that stuff, it doesn't make any sense to me. But he's obviously getting paid or something. Like something's happening. Kind of like with Dan Bilzerian, you know what I mean, and his thoughts on the war in the Middle East and everything like that. He's just saying outrageous things like Hamas isn't a terroristic group, and just really crazy things that he's just putting out there. And it makes me, believe, or not even believe, it just seems factually that he's paid in some way, shape, or form. These individuals are paid. They're bought to say these things.
yeah. I know PBD podcast. There was one yesterday, I believe, either yesterday or the day before. It was
With
Mark
Bilzerian.
Cuban. Yeah, no, it was actually I actually watched that one too. But there was a Mark Cuban. He was trashing Elon Musk, and I know PBD.
Yeah.
He says that Elon Musk did something to Mark Cuban, and now he's got that enemy. And Mark Cuban he said a reporter that if Kamala wins, he wants to be like the president of the SEC, so he could. And then PBD he was saying like he wants to put regulations on Elon Musk so he can try to get up there and equate his wealth to something like his. But yeah, I mean you could definitely. It's like I watched another podcast with Devon and Mark Cuban. I don't know if you've seen that, but he was literally just like Theo Von. He's a cool guy, of course, and stuff like that. But you could just hear Mark Cuban, the certain stuff he was saying. Like, he didn't say this, but he was basically saying like something along the lines is like, "Oh, I'm gonna vote for Kamala because she's gonna secure the border." He was basically something along those lines where it's like it's obviously wrong, but he's not getting pushback or something. Somebody that knows.
You can just tell the way his head is shaped and the way his face looks that something's wrong with him. You know what I mean? He's got that liberal physiology.
George Soros type stuff, man. George Soros type stuff.
Yeah, bro. You know what I mean? So when you start looking at people and they just start looking super weird and shit like that, like, it just makes sense. You know what I mean? If you look like that, obviously you're going to say some stupid shit and sell out for something. Bro sold out for a check.
Would you run for president?
I don't know. You know what I mean? I see myself as a world leader, but I don't know if I would run for president because it's like, what's the point and purpose of that? Like, I think I can impact the world more so getting to an Elon Musk level, and like his hobby is the, or not even hobby, his passion is the, spaceships and getting to space and creating more human opportunity for us to have, outdo or outrun a lot of people don't take into consideration like the food crisis. You know what I mean? Like, we are creating more humans than probably the Earth will be able to sustain over the next couple hundred years. So it's important for us to, and I'm believing, I don't know if this is 100% scientifically accurate, but it would make sense in my mind from the things that I've heard. I'm believing that it does make sense for us to explore, space and look for other opportunities for us to have sustaining life.
I wasn't going to go into this one, man, but you know what it says in the Bible, man?
What, going to space?
Yeah, there's a firmament, man. We can't get out of here, man. That stuff's a hoax. There's a firmament, man.
Yeah, maybe. I feel like Jesus likes the space. He created it. I don't know.
I don't know. I mean, it just says like you can't go up there and stuff like that because like
it says you can't go to space in the Bible. I don't remember that verse.
Well, I don't want to get too technical because I know people are gonna watch. Certain people are gonna watch this. Gonna be, what is he talking about? But I know. I don't know. I don't want to. I've never been there. Me personally, I've never been there. So I don't want to say too much. But I know Elon Musk. A lot of those videos look fake. You know what I mean? I feel like all those billions spent, for NASA and stuff like that, and there's a bunch of different like conspiracy videos. And
no, you can't, I agree. I agree with that. I always question it as well. My point being made though is my passion wouldn't be spending billions on space exploration. My passion is more legacy and adding value.
The stuff we already got here, yeah.
And leading and helping individuals grow and destroying. My passion would be destroying all of the weak, low-level leaders that have infiltrated our country and ultimately our entire world. I would consider myself some type of almost like, what would you call like a vigilante in a sense? You know what I mean? Like a world vigilante where my goal would be to strip down, these corrupt governments across the world and give people freedom and true opportunity through capitalism where you're going to get paid your worth. So good attitude, good effort, good results, you're getting compensated and taken care of. Now, obviously, we have our small percentage of individuals that are completely disabled or incapacitated and they're not able to maybe contribute to society as much as we would like or they're able to. Those people obviously need to be taken care of. I'm not just saying we go full Spartan mode and throw people off the mountain, but that would be my world vision. It's like, how can like purest countries in their purest forms, it's capitalism. That would be my vision, is how can I bring capitalism to the entire world and break down the corruption of these governments, that these fat kings and fat queens that want to sit and lay on their butts and do nothing to contribute to adding value to a society.
And then what are your thoughts on the best salesman in the world, President Zelensky?
President Zelensky. That's hilarious. That's the Ukrainian guy, correct?
Yes, sir. The guy's getting another package. I think it was like $300 billion or some billion.
He's getting he's getting another one?
Yeah, he's getting another one. They're signing the papers right now, man. Before Trump takes care of it.
My God, that's insane to me. You know, man, it's hard for me to say because the people that get affected by all of this corruption, like I always tell my people this: it's so important to get rich because there's 90% of people get affected through corruption, and the people that get affected through the corruption are the poor people and the blue collar people. Like they're getting affected. Like the Ukrainians, it's not the rich corrupt individuals that might be in whatever's going on, but it's your good folk that live there. I know people that have gone through Ukraine or come through Ukraine, especially with me being in Chicago, and dude, they've been devastated. Lives have been literally devastated by this. So like, I look at it and I feel bad because a few corrupt men ruined an entire country. Like that dude probably sold out his whole country for all these billions of dollars he got. You know what I mean? Like imagine selling out your friends and your family. You know what I mean? For some type of military access or financial access and just giving your friends and your family up, bro. It's
There's rumors that
disgusting.
like they saw like his wife at like Gucci or something like that. I know it was pretty big in the news that
Probably,
they saw her at like a designer store, which is crazy. But
probably.
another thing, like I mentioned, I'm gonna have this. I got a podcast scheduled for next Tuesday. An amazing guy. He's gonna watch this over. He's got a really cool
Yes.
raising money story. And then besides from
Can
that, I got a
connect me.
yes sir, yes sir. I got one of Donald Trump's friends.
Yeah,
Um,
connect me.
yes sir. He's a billionaire. He said he'll do it.
Yeah.
He just wants to have it more of like an audio kind of thing. So I'll make
Yeah.
that exception for him only. You know, once you let one guy do it,
Yeah.
a lot of people will be like, oh, you know, I would rather do that. So yeah, I'll let you know.
No, you'd be
Yeah,
surprised. You'd be surprised. A lot of people want to be seen. Super, super wealthy, super connected individuals. Sometimes they want to be hidden.
yeah, there's
Understandable.
not a
But like,
picture of him on the internet, man. Everybody
yeah,
in Hinsdale, I look him like on
yeah,
Google, they come up, but yeah, he's nowhere to be
definitely.
seen. And then I got an NFL player. He's gonna be doing that. He's gonna be doing it audio and
Let's go.
video sometime in the next few weeks, which will be nice. I'm not
Let's
a
go.
football guy at all, so I might have to look up what is
Yeah.
a running back, you know, and stuff like
Yes.
that. So it'll be an interesting thing. But what is your, you know, I know you got that mentoring you do for, you know, helping people grow their
Yeah.
podcasts and stuff like that. You know, what is your? I know for you, you already got that huge track record of success. So you know, for you, I know you
Yeah.
slide into some DMs. They look at your Instagram page. You know, why not? You
Yeah.
know, what would you
Yeah.
say? You know, for somebody that doesn't have you know that much big of a impact yet.
Yeah. So I would say, listen, a lot of individuals that, yeah, maybe they'll measure off the surface level. But for me, again, it's the consulting for me is more so in the sales, insurance, and how that all collaborates into there as well. Obviously, utilizing the media and the podcasting to do so. It's helped me build the multi-million dollar empire. But I would tell you, listen, like the biggest form of credibility I have isn't the following. It isn't even the money that's been generated, the results that have been generated. It is the relationships and the consistency of my internal being for the last 6 years. We're waking up, doing the same thing over and over and over again every single day, and showing that to the public and the private. As people know, I'm going to get up no matter what, no matter who dies, no matter what happens, no matter how much money is lost and what happens. I'm going to get up and read, work out, pray, and grow the insurance business every day. Every day. Even when I have to restart. Like every day I'm going to get up and do the same thing. And people start to see that because I've documented the journey, bits and pieces of it over the last 6 years. People respect resiliency. The super wealthy, they're impressed with resiliency. The surface level rich guys, the little cool little rich Miami boys and girls, the people that are surface level and poor, they get impressed with spending and making quick money. Wealthy people, 100 plus million, billion plus dollars of work, they're impressed with resiliency, character, being a good person, and doing it for decades. That's how they measure.
Yes, sir. And then that's another amazing one we haven't touched much down on. How is that faith for you? You know, are you a big, you know, faith big in your life,
Faith,
or you know?
yeah, faith is everything. I don't look at myself as, and I say this and people get confused. I don't look at myself as some religious individual that like, because sometimes individuals get so obsessed with the religion, they start to forget the relationship. God sent his only begotten son, Jesus, to love and accept and invite those who did not know him to have an opportunity that if you would believe that if he died for your sins, you would have an opportunity to have eternal life with him. So I believe in love. I believe in being an extension. Like I pray every night with my girl and I say, make me a reflection of your love and your light, Lord. What I mean by that is I want to be an extension of God's love. And I feel like God's love isn't hidden away and just showing up to some church and me looking over and being like, well, I'm better than Dave. and I'm better than Joe, and my girl's better than Mary, because we start to compare and contrast and start thinking like, what do I physically do that's better than you? Like that, nowhere, it specifically even says in the Bible, not by works, but by your faith and by God's grace. By my faith, by his grace, I'm saved. By his faith, by your faith, by God's grace, you're saved. So it's like, that's my faith to me, dude, is like, I'm trying to be good to God's kids in the best way I can. Am I always am I perfect? Nowhere close, dude. Nowhere close. I get upset. I get irritated. I say dumb things. You know, I shouldn't swear. Like, I mess up, man. Like, that's life. But I know God's got grace, and I try my best to grow every single day. And that's growing. That's faith for me.
So was there like a big moment where like, you're like, this is the path for me? Because I know for me, I had, maybe some moments where like it seemed more, more like out there than others, like easier to view from others. Was there like, did you just grow up, always, like encompass in that faith lifestyle?
Yeah, my parents had the faith, definitely kind of being injected into our childhoods from a young age. Wasn't super hardcore, but when they went to jail, bro, and all that anger and pain, like sometimes, all you're left with is faith. Sometimes when it's just you and the darkness and the pain and you have nothing, like all you can do is like kind of look up and pray and hope something is out there, somebody's out there listening. And I feel like for me, that's where I found God, just like wanting to know, like, man, in the midst of all of this, there's somebody out there for me.
Yes, sir. And then how is dating in Miami, man? I know you started off with that. You started off with
Yeah,
mentioning your girlfriend. I see, you post her on Instagram a lot, man. I'm thinking,
yeah,
sheesh, you've got that all this success, man. You're held
yeah,
down at the moment, by a kind lady.
yeah.
How is that going for you, especially being in Miami?
Yeah, so I wouldn't even say held down, I'm lifted up, so like my girl is my business partner. She's the best thing that's ever happened to me. So like if finding the right one is the make or break in your life. So like if a lot of young men, like all you think about, I know you're 19, 20 years old, like you're just chasing, you're thinking like, how do I get a hotter girl? How do I get a better girl? Like you don't get a better woman in your life until you become a better man. And it's not reflected initially in your bank. It's not reflected in the car, in the house, in the materials. It's reflected in your internal being, in your visions, in your dreams, in your goals, in your character. And it takes years to develop. And when you can align that and find and attract the right one, your whole life is set. You know what I mean? I knew immediately when I met the girl. I told her immediately, I was like, "You're the last," because I spent so many years developing and reading and growing and identifying who's good and who's not for me and my life and my goals. She's the best thing that's ever happened to me. So like, this girl's helped me open my mind and open my eyes and realize how much more that I can have in this life. And I've done a lot, dude. I've accomplished a lot at a young age. And, this is the missing piece that I feel like God sent me to like guarantee I'm going to get to billions. Through this partnership, through our love, like 1,000%. So like, you know, finding the right one, it's not a matter of where they're at, where they're located. You got to go here, you got to go there. Um, Man, I think it's when you really find yourself before you find the right one. It takes years of development, I believe.
And then where do you see yourself in 5 to 10 years?
I don't like the years of like, oh, where am I gonna be? Where's that? Like for me, bro, until I die, I have one vow. I'm gonna grow. So like there's like for me, like I would love to be at a billion in the next 5 to 10 years. But at the same time, I could be at 50 million, 100 million, 10 million and not be like, it's not going to be the end of the world. I'm going to keep growing. That's it. Like I'm going to get up, read, work out, pray, and do stuff like this. Generate results, generate attention, generate leads, grow, add value, give back until I die.
Definitely. And
There's,
then
there's no destination.
what was your hardest week in your life, man? What did you do to get through it?
There's not really, I can't think of a hardest week in my life, because sometimes things are hard when you're going through it. You're a little anxious about money. Someone died, you're going through a breakup, like, but I always look back and it's like what seemed like what day was never going to end, it always ends. You always get through it. That's all yesterday. Look how many yesterdays you survived. Today will become another yesterday. Person watching this thinking you're not going to make it. I don't have enough money. How am I going to get this? My girl's leaving me. My guy's leaving me. How's this all going to work out? You survived 1,000 yesterdays, 10,000 yesterdays. You'll survive today and it'll become a yesterday. You'll learn from it and you'll keep going. That's life.
Definitely. And then do you think you're born for a purpose? You think you're here, on accident? I know you're a little into that, pretty big into that faith. Where do you see
Yeah,
yourself? Like, do you think you're
everybody.
here? You're here for a big reason. To
Yes,
change things around, or
yes. Everybody's born for a purpose, bro. It's like most people just go to the grave never realizing they were born for a purpose beyond a 9 to 5, beyond selling their dreams for $10 an hour, $20 an hour, 3 paid sick days a year, paid vacation. Like people go to the grave thinking that's their purpose. Just
yeah,
mediocrity, accepting.
yeah, sir. We've been through a lot on here. One of my final things maybe is what do you got going on? I know you said you got the insurance consulting. You're doing the partnerships. Any other income streams you're focused on at the moment?
Oh, just insurance and the sales and insurance consulting. I've got a staffing company as well, but I also leverage and utilize that to identify people that I want to pull into my insurance company. So I'm helping others find sales jobs, but also helping me find high qualified individuals that are looking for sales jobs.
Definitely. Definitely. Then you're planning to stay in Miami?
Yes, stay in Miami for the foreseeable future till I marry my girl and take her to some random little kingdom away from Miami, probably 20 minutes away.
Yes, sir. All right, yeah. I mean, you got any other things you want to drop? Any other pieces of wisdom or stuff like
Nothing,
that? Any other lines?
nothing, brother. I got some other calls to run. So
Of
this was
course.
fire.
Yes, sir, man. Thank you very much, man. This is Tristan Dlabik, Tristan Ross the Boss. Thank you very much
Let's
for
go.
being on here, man. Look forward to
Thank
talking
you.
to you soon.